So, so welcome everyone and happy Sustainable Development Goals Week. We are super delighted to welcome you to Eco Week 2025 and especially to our session today, which is called Our Island Working Together for Climate. So before we get into the bones of the session, I'm just going to give you guys a brief introduction to who we are and what we do. Can you guys let me know that you can see the screen properly? Just maybe a thumbs up in the chat or something, just to make sure that everything is working okay. I think it is. I'm going to presume it is. So ECO-UNESCO. So we were founded way back in 1986 by a group of young people, and our overall aim is to empower the young people who are involved with us to help protect the environment. So ECO-UNESCO is really proud to be one of UNESCO's affiliated clubs, as well as a Sustainable Development Goals ambassador. So as a youth organisation, we focus on environmental education, and we're a registered charity and a non-governmental organisation. So it means that we do a lot of work across the country and work around facilitating young people to develop skills, learn about the environment, and share that knowledge and enthusiasm with their own communities. So today's session is around our island working together for climate, and we have Conor O'Kane with us to deliver this. So our environment doesn't know borders. Environmental action works best when we all work together across borders, across communities, and include as many people as we can. So we're joined by community garden support to see how the different groups across the island of Ireland are joining forces to care for our environment and why working together really matters. But before we get into that, Eco Week, all of our workshops are kind of tailored to fit in with one of the Sustainable Development Goals. So this one is on Goal 17, which is Partnership for the Goals. And so the SDGs, the Sustainable Development Goals,
you didn't do your spellings last week. It was quite clear, okay?
So I'm just going to...
Arta, that has to go home.
Mute that one because I don't think they were muted. So the SDGs are 17 shared objectives that address major global challenges like poverty, climate change, and inequality. And they provide a blueprint for helping people and the planet thrive together. So Goal 17 is really important because it embodies that. So with the big global problems that we see in our daily lives in Ireland and across the world, Goal 17 is about sharing ideas, sharing resources and skills so that all the other 16 goals can succeed. So why does it matter? It matters because we need teamwork. The planet's challenges cross borders, so countries need to help each other and not just work alone. We need to share our resources. Richer countries and richer nations support others that may not have access to funding, technology, and expertise. And then global cooperation. And that means working together across the globe with honest reporting and partnerships to help track the progress. So essentially, to solve global problems, it's a giant group project. No single group or country can do it all by themselves. We have to team up and share what we know to make the whole world stronger and fairer. So with that, I'm going to pass it over to Conor, who is going to take you through a bit about his work. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoy and ask questions, use the chat function, throw things in there. That's not a problem, and I'll be keeping track of that. So Conor, do you want to take the reins there?
I shall try my best here. Let me see now. Should I take the roll? Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I go to share. I'm going to window. And I'm going to PowerPoint. Okay, here we go.
Fantastic.
Start the slideshow. Okay, is that us? Can you see me?
We can see you. We can see you well.
And you can see the screen. Well, that's great. And that was lovely to get that introduction from you, Maya, because it is so important the idea that we are working together as a team. I work with Community Garden Support, and we are a small charity based in Northern Ireland, but everything we do is with organisations that are groups of people working together in community.
Oh, sorry, Connor, 2 seconds. I can't see your slides. I don't know if you're sharing.
I am sharing. That's so.
Okay.
That is
Not for me.
okay. Can anybody else see them?
Okay, someone else can see them. It's an issue on my side. Sorry, keep going.
Okay, I'll go back then to the.
That is strange. That's okay.
Okay, that's there. Now I can't see the chat whenever I'm doing this, so if there's anything coming up on that, you alert me to any important points that come up.
Oh well.
So that's great. So we're just really for yourself there. We're just looking at a map of Ireland there, and you can see Lough Neagh is still blue in this map, which unfortunately it's not quite that blue at the moment. But you can just see how connected we are with our waters, with our lakes, with our rivers, with our mountain ranges and our lowlands, and what a beautiful place it is. And we really need to work together to keep it that way. And so in this talk, I'm going to really look at 3 examples of organisations that work well across borders, because there's too much. You couldn't talk about it all, and you couldn't give all the great examples that are there. But these are 3 that I would know fairly well. The first one would be Community Gardens Ireland and Community Garden Support. I'm on the board of Community Gardens Ireland and have been since 2019. Be very careful whenever you go to any meetings. You may end up on a board. And I've been working with Community Garden Support for this last year.
No. Why for Tom? No. No, I'm doing it.
Grand job. And then the All Island Pollinator Plan, which is a great framework set up by the National Biodiversity Centre that would inform a lot of the work that we would do in our community gardens. And then the Seeded Union, which most people probably haven't heard of. We're fairly underground, but we are an organisation that shares seeds and shares seeds communally. So we'll get onto all of that. Next slide. So here we go. Community Garden Support. You can see by our logo, which is still in progress. We're not big fans of AI or computer generated stuff. And I had a bit of assistance in this one with my son, helping do a bit of the design and the drawing. But we just want to get the idea across that we're working together. We're DIY, we're hands-on, and we help people get the most that they can out of their gardens and communities. We're a small charity. We've got 3 workers, and we've got a board. We're all based in Northern Ireland, but we really do aim to work right across the island with partners in that. One thing about the way that the island's set up at the moment is that there is money available for people who are working across borders, and we can get some cooperation with our partners in the south. So we're based between Belfast and Derry. I'm in the northwest, and the other workers are up, but we would work across the different local authorities in Northern Ireland. Working with them. Unlike in the south, they aren't all necessarily county based. They've got their own boundaries in there, but we try to work with our councils and with our executive whenever it is up and running. I did see that Michelle O'Neill had joined the call. I don't know if it's the Michelle O'Neill, but there is certainly a Michelle O'Neill with us. So if it is the Michelle O'Neill, more funding for our community gardens, please. And so our partners in the south that we work with, and we've always called them our sister organisation, would be Community Gardens Ireland. And Community Gardens Ireland are an entirely voluntary organisation. It does operate on a 32 county basis, although a lot of its members and activities have historically been in the 26 counties, because it was a group of people from the south that came together. And I think it was at Cloughjordan, maybe about 15 years ago, that the notion was first mooted. And really, it's a way of these fantastic organisations coming together, discussing with each other what their common problems are, common goals are, and how they can be stronger working together. And some of you who are listening might never have been in a community garden or come across one, and some people get them mixed up with allotments. The real difference in them is that in an allotment, you're kind of on your own. You get a bit of ground, it's up to you. You have to garden this. If things don't go well on it, it can become slightly difficult because it's your responsibility putting it all in. In a community garden, there's always somebody there to help. You don't have total control over it, and you have to talk to people and make difficult decisions together. But isn't that what life's all about? So they're two slightly different models of ways of producing food and being together. And a community garden can be really accessible to all ages and very welcoming space for people who just dip their toe into the water of learning to grow without being intimidated away from it. And there aren't the same boundaries in terms of finances. You don't have to buy everything yourself before you start growing stuff. And particularly in the south, we find a lot of the community gardens are extremely welcoming places for people from new communities. Toher Community Garden in Cork would be a wonderful example of this. Mud Island Community Garden and up in the North Strand in Dublin hosts. They seem to be a community party space as much as a community garden. They seem to have a different festival for different communities every turn around, and it's absolutely wonderful that we have non-commercial spaces where people can come together and express their own culture and their own identity, and a lot of that is often based around food. So as well as the fun stuff like growing vegetables, eating vegetables, making pizza ovens, cooking pizzas, playing music and expressing ourselves in our gardens, we also have to speak truth to power. We have to talk to our politicians. We have to get them to help us out when we can, to remove the blockages from the way of allowing us to be powerful local community organisations. And believe it or not, community gardens did not exist in law in the Republic of Ireland until last year. And it was basically through the efforts of our then chair, Donald, really recognised that there was no definition in law for allotments, or that allotments had been removed from the law. There was no definition of community gardens, and he harassed every TD that he could get and managed to get it passed in law. We have support now, so community gardens are recognised in law. They can be funded, and there is now recognition and a duty on councils to provide support for allotments and community gardens. They haven't exactly defined that yet, but it was a major achievement. And some people are very good at legalities and dealing with this type of stuff. Some of us just like to get our hands in the dirt. But the advantage of the community is that there's a different rule for all of the different people. And as an organisation of community gardens, we're strong enough to be able to take our rightful place as a useful way for gardens to exist. And I say Community Gardens Ireland cooperate with Community Garden Support and work across the island, and we've been able to inform each other on what we're both doing in our own legislations, how we deal with our council officers and how we support them in their difficult job to get on and what they're doing. Activities the CGA would carry on. We also have an online gala in the spring where we usually get between 50 and 100 people bringing in from all over the country, and there's a few presentations from different people so you can see what's going on. It's really lively and exciting and quite fast paced. It's an hour and a half, 2 hours just vanishes, but it's so fantastic to hear. And quite often that's how we meet new people. They hear about the online thing, and we sometimes with new board members come on from that, sometimes with new gardens we've got to visit. Recent hosts, and there's a couple of people from these counties on the call, I believe. We had Donegal, we had Waterford. Hello, Waterford. We had a fantastic trip down to the top of the city community garden there. We got to visit GIY headquarters, and then we visited the hospice garden and quite a few other sites as well. And Waterford City Council have got a fantastic attitude towards cooperating with the community gardens and recognising them as community partners. And we just wish every municipality had the same attitude. Carlow, wonderful, the first people in Ireland to actually implement the new legal framework for community gardens and allotments. Cork, we were down there 2 years ago, Toher Community Garden and the Glen Community Garden, and amazing food, fantastic people. What a climate you have down there. You're very different to the Sperrins. You definitely get it a bit warmer. And Dublin, when we were at Airfield Community Airfield Community Garden there, a beautiful old stately home and fantastic growing space. And next month we are heading to Galway. And I'm very excited, as I've not been to Galway Community Gardens. We're heading to Ballybean and to Merlin's Woods Community Gardens. And a great thing about the Unreal Life thing, we get lots of young people coming along to run around with their parents and sometimes on their own, having a crack. It's a great opportunity to connect. We eat food together, we visit, we get talks from the local people, and we really get a feel for how the gardens are. And so it will be on the 12th of October from 10:30 to 4:30. Tickets are still available on Eventbrite. They're pretty affordable. I think around sort of €17 or something like that. And that's mostly for the food. And we have a really good time when we come together and we explore our commonalities. Was that it for community gardens? It's if there's any questions on community gardens, would you like to shout them out now at this point, or do you think we should come together at the end for that stuff?
We're coming up to halfway there at 22 minutes
really?
past. So do you want to maybe run through this, and then while you're doing this, maybe the classes can think about what questions they would like to ask, and then they can pop them into the chat?
That would be fabulous. Yeah. So I'm going to talk. Wee bit of feedback there. Just going to talk here about the All Island Pollinator Plan, which for me is one of the most successful frameworks to come into play across the whole island. Now, the All Island Pollinator Plan, you're going to see a lot of bees in this presentation. It's not just about bees. The bees are the sort of poster child for pollination, but butterflies do a lot of pollination, wasps do a lot of pollination, hoverflies do a lot of pollination, and believe it or not, moths do an awful lot of pollinator work as well. So, but we all love our bees, don't we? And the All Island Pollinator Plan has been on the go since 2015, and it is an all island framework to support our pollinators, and it's so important. Really, it's our food crops are the basis of our society. As an island, we still have the memory of what happened, in the mid-19th century, with An Garda Mór, the Great Famine, whenever our crops failed. Crop failure is a reality across the world for many people, and increasing with the climate crisis and global weirding and whatever you want to call it, but just the change in our seasons. And we really are seeing it even here. Everything's nearly a month ahead of itself this year, and this affects people and frost dates and how long they get to grow stuff. But biodiversityireland.ie, note that down, teachers. That is a fantastic website for you to go to, and there is so much there, even beyond the pollinator plan. There we go. It's the National Biodiversity Data Centre, documenting Ireland's wildlife. There's loads of citizen science activities you can get involved in. There's beautiful maps showing you all the locations around the country where things are going on. And it's lovely to see what's going on elsewhere, but we all love to come onto our own and find out, what's around here and my area, and what have I seen or what have I not seen. So there's loads of projects that you can do, and it's a fantastic resource to do fantastic work. Use them, because that's what they're there for. So the pollinator plan from 2015 to 2025 over the whole of the 32 counties, which was quite innovative at that stage. The awareness and consciousness of our biodiversity crisis has been raised massively. It's a beautiful framework to discuss the shared issues on both sides of the border. and it helps us identify as an island, not as two separate states. Our bees, our hoverflies, and our butterflies don't stop at the border. We should not be dealing with them differently in neighbouring counties. Having said that, there are regulations in place that stop honeybees being exported and queens being taken across the border. And even though some of our beekeeping associations operate, there's the Ulster Beekeepers Federation, and then there's the Irish Black Bees, and there's the FIBCA, the Federation of Irish Beekeeper Associations. So lots of these people operate in other ways, but most pollinators are not they're not seen as commercial. They're just there, but really they're only there if we support them by letting our nettles grow, let our thistles grow. The things that we see as weeds, wild plants, are so important to so many of our pollinators, and for our wildlife and biodiversity generally. So wild patches are so much fun. It's you don't have to be in control of nature. It's a lot more fun when you engage with it. And if you get the odd sting, well, there you go. That's all part of growing up, isn't it? And sometimes you'll find that a sting, even though it might hurt at the time, it's a great cure as you get older for rheumatism and arthritis. So it's not all bad. And even you beekeepers, who people would come to them for a sting, and they would give them a bee, and they would give them a wee sting in the knee with it, and they say that little bit of inflammation would help it out. So it just shows you there's more in a hive than honey. Next slide. Yes, so now your teachers can download the entire plan here at the pollinators.ie, all iron pollinator plan. I'm not going to go through it in massive detail, but it's really fascinating and a great example to all of us working in ecosystem restoration, permaculture and food production about how to set up a framework that covers all these areas and is really accessible. And why you do need frameworks is because it gives us the chance to deal with a complex issue quickly and simply whenever decisions need to be made. We've got a frame of reference that allows us to say, is this a good thing to do or a bad thing to do? For example, an organisation, I'll not name them, but got in touch last week, and they've been given a load of wildflower seeds, and it's kind of, we want to give these out to people, but they're from England. And it's like, we're saying, please don't, because these are English wildflower seeds, and there are varieties in these which are very different to the ones that were grown in Ireland. And it's great that you've been given these, but what we really think you should do is you should send them back to England and tell them to grow them there and buy a load from some of the Irish wildflower seed producers here, because that allows us to keep the genetic diversity that we have within our own wildflower population here, and keep that on an all island basis. Being an island is really important for I don't like the term biosecurity. It seems very corporate and the rest, but what it does is it means that diseases are slower to get here and they don't sweep through us quite as much, and it also allows it gives us some protection from invasive species, that can fly through connected places a bit more. So check out that framework, and I'll give you a very quick run. There's 6 objectives: making farms pollinator friendly. Some of you may be from farming areas, some of you are obviously from cities that we can see, but we're all fed from farms, and they occupy so much of the land of Ireland. So it's really important that we bring farmers on board. It's not just all about the green grass. It's not just about cutting the silage and getting that down. It's our hedgerows can be like massive corridors and sanctuaries for our wildlife. There are great numbers of farmers who are now getting into regenerative growing in the north and organic farming in the south, who are doing beautiful work around the pollinators, and they're sowing clover and they're letting it go on, and you've got perennial crops that are on there as well as the grass. We need more of that going on, and the pollinator plan has helped bring that into the foreground. Making public land pollinator friendly and working with councils, transport authorities, local communities. We need to coexist with biodiversity, return food and shelter for pollinators to our island. That means no spraying, And we can't say that loudly enough and often enough to our schools. In the north, a lot of our councils have stopped spraying, but our education authority is still spraying. Like at every turn around, it seems, even when the kids are still in the schools. And same with the health authority around hospitals. And sometimes I look and I go, why are we spraying dangerous chemicals around hospitals and schools where we have vulnerable people and people, you know, who are growing up? And these are, lots of these are, yeah, like hormone disruptors and the worst possible places to be spraying. But the conversation is getting there. It's taking time, and the pollinator plan has been really important and allowing us to have those conversations. Making private land pollinator friendly. That means your garden, businesses, churches, sports clubs. We need networks of this going across. And whenever we have an objective that you see there's a greater good, a greater goal, then that allows the clubs to work together, allows the churches to work together. It's going to have an appeal to the better nature and say, well, everybody else is doing this and they're working together at it. You can too. So the fourth one is the all-iron honeybee strategy, supporting beekeepers to have healthy, sustainable populations. Stop buying in queens from other countries. Return our native black bees, which are incredibly hard workers and incredibly good at foraging from the ground around us. If any of you have ever been to Kerry, there is an amazing island 6 miles, I believe, off the coast. Some of you who've seen Star Wars will have seen it there. And whenever I was out in that island, I couldn't believe the noise that I was hearing. It was like a constant hum, and it was the wild black bee population on the slopes of Skellig Michael. You know, it sounded like an electricity pylon. Zzz, and they were out there, way out in the ocean, a colony of them going, and beautiful wildflowers all around feeding them. So it just shows how tough these are. They can survive on a rock 6 miles out in the Atlantic and have vibrant colonies. You know, when we don't poison them, when we don't interfere too much, they are capable of playing a wonderful role in our nature. Conserving rare pollinators. Now, this might not be a rare one. You're saying that's just a bumblebee, but we have a lot of species of bees. We've got red-tailed bees, we've got minor bees, we've got mason bees. There's a lot more than Apis mellifera, which is the honeybee. And by giving habitats for these bees and letting stuff sit around over the winter so that they can get through the winter and come out in spring, and not cultivating too early or too often, and not being overly tidy and neat in our gardens. We can actually give a lot of space for our these pollinators to exist. And then strategic coordination of the plan. You don't have to worry so much about that one, but there's a lot that you can do in the other ones, and it's just really important that the plan continues, it's updated, and it keeps going. How long have we left?
We have about 10 minutes left, but we want to give some time to wrap it up and a Q&A. So
sure. I'll fly through the seeded union then. What are we? We are like a credit union for seeds. We are not a seed bank. We are not huge. We are not corporate. We do not want to hang on to our seeds. We're like a credit union. We want to get the seeds out there. We want you to grow the seeds, and we want you to give us a little bit back. Not very much. Just do it yourself. Share a load with your neighbours. Give us some back. And because a seed in a bank is like a song in a book. It's no good. It's only alive whenever it's out there growing and changing and being part of the community. So that is our philosophy, and we are essentially, we're quite anarchic. We're quite under the radar. We don't have a website. We're in touch with each other through our gardens, and we just like to save seed, and we like to share seed, and we like to get people growing it. We're approachable. We're friendly. We don't chase you for the seeds back. We just might look slightly disappointed if they didn't work out for you. But we absolutely love to see people growing, and especially some of our young gardeners in schools. There's a new GCSE, getting that right, coming in the north, which is on gardening and horticulture. And some of our schools are going for that one, which is a brilliant thing to do, bring that in, and we can incorporate this within that. Just a few pictures here, some of the stuff that we're saving. This is amaranth, which is like a type of quinoa. It grows amazingly well here, and it's a really healthy grain. particularly for people with gluten intolerance. How many seeds? Maybe stick in the chat if you recognise some of the things here. You know, we could a lot of real ancient varieties coming in from like you can see that's corn up there. It's not sweet corn, that's what they'd call Andean corn, but we're managing to grow stuff like that in this country. We've got beautiful pumpkins, loads of tomatoes. In fact, there's a not particularly good looking pumpkin or winter squash there, but that's okay. We take seeds from all things that don't have to look beautiful or identical, and diversity is so important. And up in the top there, you can see those are actually leek heads, and from each of those, from a single leek, whenever it goes to flower, we could probably be expecting something in the region of 900 to 1,500 seeds from a single leek. You know, you let your best one go on, you let it flower, and what does it do? It feeds bumblebees for maybe a month. You know, these flowers to keep open, and you can look at a single leek head and you can see 10 or 12 bumblebees crawling around on the top, supping away from each flower. They're a beautiful plant to grow in your garden. Eat the weak ones, let the big ones stay, let them go for seed, gather your leeks and give them to your neighbours. Weighing out and labelling, that's something that a lot of people actually quite enjoy doing. And it's really important to have your labels. If you don't know what you have, you don't know when it was saved, you're just sowing randomly. But we get together once a year and do all that. And we have members in Donegal, Derry, Tyrone, Antrim, Down, Monaghan and Leitrim. You might notice those are all in the northern part of the island. And that's because we're sort of bioregional. We're trying to we're selecting seeds that do well up here, and this wet, windy, miserable part of the island, but which is also very beautiful at times. The people in Mayo Gall know what I'm chatting about. I think Mayo Gall, that's Port Glenone, as far as I'm aware, and we would have stuff going on around Garva and up around. I'm doing a workshop up in Portrush in a couple of weeks' time, and there's real interest in saving seed that is from our own areas, and it does better. Rather than change your land to suit the seed that comes from far away, let the seeds that you grow and save on the land be the ones that you sow again, and they will do much better for you. And like I say, we've got over 140 different varieties in the last 5 years. We've got up that from starting off with a few. We have a horrible, massive spreadsheet that has to be updated regularly. But if you don't do your administration, then you don't know what you have and how much you can give to people. So that'll happen. You see our German pink tomato, golden currant, travel tomato, which is a wonderful thing. It's a tomato that you can carry around your pocket and it doesn't squash on you. And you know, it's a good one for going on a journey with. All our seed organisations that operate all over Ireland. Now Clare and Cork are very well catered for here. We have the Irish Seed Savers and Scariff and County Clare, who are like they're the OG. They have been going there since the 1980s. They're amazing people. They do fantastic work, and they have saved so much of our heritage in terms of apple trees, pear trees, and going around and hunting out old varieties of vegetables. They deserve all the praise they get. True Harvest Seeds in County Down, Ireland's first long-term seed bank. Debbie there was trained up at Kew Gardens, and she keeps loads and loads of our native wildflowers and plants. The Gaia Foundation Seed Sovereignty Programme doing incredible work with growers, medium-sized growers and community growers right across England, Ireland, Scotland and Wales, and we have a lot of fun online when we get together. And then there's lots of small packet producers like Brown Antelope Seeds in County Cork, Madeline McKeever, an amazing woman, Wolf Seeds Christian, he's originally from Sweden, also in Cork, Ballymacany Seeds in County Donegal. You wouldn't believe you could save so many seeds next to Loch Derg, but you can. And the seed sovereignty and food resilience, if we have control and agency over our seeds, the foundation of our food supply, this gives us a little bit of security going into the future. Like we're climate crisis, war, conflict, and there's only 4 big corporations that control about 85% of the global seed supply, and they're not interested in you. They're interested in profit. And if we can hang on to the ability to save our own seed and to be able to grow plants that will get us through difficult times and let them adapt, then take that power because they should be in the hands of the people, and the people, you are the people, and you are the future. If you start saving seed now, you'll probably fall in love with this ancient and beautiful process. It's a bit of a rabbit hole, but these plants feed us and they keep us really healthy. We have seed libraries and libraries. Why not? Not just for books. All over Ireland, they're popping up. You can borrow a few seeds and you borrow a book and maybe return some seeds in the autumn. We know ones in Cork, Carlow, Waterford, Dublin, Clare and Donegal, and in Northern Ireland, Libraries NI have been brilliant with us. They've been really supportive, and Crumlin and Garva, Kilray, and then Port Rush, and County up in the Glens and County Antrim as well. And in the south, libraries are done independently by each council, but go to your library, speak to your librarian and say, we would love to have a seed library in our library. And they will go, brilliant, because they just love people coming in. And so that's an action that you could take. Go and talk to your local library and say, why haven't we got a seed library? And can we help you do one? So you can make a difference. Save some seed today. Take a tomato, squeeze the seeds into a glass, cover it up and leave it for a few days. And then you just sieve them out 4 days later, spread them out in a plate like you see there, and let them dry about another week. And you will have so many seeds for sowing beautiful tomatoes next year. Only save seed from a tomato that you like. There's no point getting one from a tasteless oil, super value money maker. All our tasteless tomatoes are available. But if you get a good tomato, save the seed from it and you will get a beautiful tomato back. So just remember, you are powerful as a group and the future belongs to you. Make sure it's one that you want to live in with happy insects to pollinate the plants, groups working together on our shared island, eating good food and cooperating with people of all nationalities, ages and abilities. So I'm Laura. Good luck. And I hope you engage with some of this stuff that we're chatting about today. So I'm going to stop sharing now. Take you back.
That was fantastic, Connor. Thank you so much. Does anyone have any questions? You can raise your hand if you want to speak from your classroom, or if you want to type it into the chat. I'll give you a couple of seconds maybe to think of anything. But yeah, that was really good, really in depth. I learned a lot from that. So thank you, Connor, from Eureka Kells.
Oh,
that's good.
Great stuff.
We have people from all over today, which is great. I'll give people a couple of seconds. I know we're a little short on time. I suppose one of the questions I have is, I suppose, quite a simple one. If a school wanted to set up something like a community garden,
yeah,
how would be the best way to go about it?
Well, there's there are a number of ones doing it with the Green Flag and the Eco Schools program. Which get in touch with your local community garden and see if they would like to be linked with the school, and find out what community gardens are in your area. You can go onto the Community Gardens Ireland website, which has got hundreds of gardens listed, and you will probably find one around you. Don't start off just going in the dark saying, oh, we'll just do this. Reach out, talk to people, talk to all schools as well, and find out what they're doing, because no schools want to hang on to it all themselves. It's always so much better when we're all stealing ideas from each other. It's like we all need that's a good idea, we might try that. And you can share the resources, and whenever you do well with a crop one year, you get that stuff to people, and whenever they do well a different year, they can get it to you. We've so much to share. And the thing about growing, it's not a zero-sum game, because you put a seed in the ground, the plant is doing the work, and it's getting it from sunshine, it's getting it from water, and it is creating for us, and it's giving us abundance. And abundance gives us the ability to share and be generous and be curious and all the things that we love. Whereas capitalism doesn't do that. Capitalism says there's only so much to go around and they want to steal it from you. That's not true. There's loads to go around, and whenever you're saving seeds, you're going from, we've got one seed or we've got 10 seeds, and then you save a seed from that, you're probably chatting 10,000 seeds, on a lot of ones, and you can multiply so quickly. It allows you to be generous. It's a really good way of giving Christmas presents to people that don't cost you any money.
Yeah, that kind of ties into Kathy's put a question in there around, can you think of a positive reason for schools working together from different parts of the island? So I suppose
absolutely
what might be some benefits.
I mean, the chance to build friendships you know, through, it might be initially online, you might be sending seeds and all like that. You know, when you're working on a common project, then you can go and visit. You know, build that friendship through something that's like a shared experience together, and you can say, "Oh, these did great for us this year." You know, and like, well, wait, this well, oh, well, it was quite wet for us. We didn't get these going here. This year, for the first time in our tomato growing trials, Donegal and Derry were the first ripe tomatoes on the island of Ireland out of any of our growers, and they were all a bit shocked. They were all expecting it was the 17th of June. We had ripe tomatoes in Strabane. So,
Wow.
you know, I was shocked, but it was an early variety that's been bred for earliness and blight resistance, and yeah, Loch Derg, Pedigo direction had theirs the same week, while they were still waiting for them to ripen up in the sunny southeast and in Cork. So it just shows.
Yeah, that's really cool. That's really cool. Okay, well, thanks so much. I'm going to briefly, because I know we're coming up to time, I'm going to briefly share a little bit more information for people. And so I'm going to resume. So, so there's a couple of other ways that, you know, if your school and your students want to get involved in things, that ECO-UNESCO do as well. So there's the Young Environmentalist Awards. So let's say you want to take action, you want to do something in your school. This is a program that Kathy, who's here with us, works on. It's an all-island eco-action program, and it's a way of rewarding young people from the ages of 10 to 18 to take, when they take environmental action of any kind. It can be super broad. Anything can kind of fit into it, as long as it's looking at the environmental side of things in some way. And then let's say you want to do something in your school that's a bit more hands-on. You want someone to come in and do a workshop on a topic. So the workshops team in ECO-UNESCO can come down to you and deliver a workshop on things like waste, fast fashion, marine life, biodiversity, loads and loads of different topics that we go around the island delivering. And yeah, so then there's some other youth groups that we run. So we have a youth climate justice program and a sustainable development program. And we also have a clubs program. And these different groups are ways that you can look at taking action. You can maybe step outside your comfort zone a little bit and see what's going on outside of the school environment as well. So why is this not clicking left? And then one of the last things I'd like to ask you to do is if you can scan this QR code, and this will be emailed out to you as well, and just let us know, what do you think? What did you learn? What did you enjoy? Any feedback for us? We run Eco Week every single year, and each year we do different topics. We explore different projects going on across Ireland. So any feedback is super welcome to help us improve what we do. And then there's a lot of other things happening for Eco Week. So today was our first session. Later on in the day, we're having an introduction to the Sustainable Development Goals, which I'll actually be giving to the 13 to 18-year-old category. Then tomorrow we have Climate Change 101. We have Wild About Nature, Gender and Climate Justice, Energy. There's a load of different topics. And the idea is that it's introducing the topic. So if you're unfamiliar, that's okay. You don't need to be an expert to attend any of these. And lastly, just thank you. And if you're looking for more information, you can contact us through a variety of ways. We have a website, we're on social media, we have our info email there. So if you have any questions or queries after this session, do get in touch. We would love to hear from you. So with that, thank you so much for attending, and thank you, Connor, for an amazing presentation. I hope everyone enjoyed it, and hopefully I'll see you at some more of the Eco Week activities. Goodbye.